Hello everyone, I am TDQ and welcome. This is another tutorial episode, and today we are going to learn all about villagers, what we can do with them, and the farms we can use them in. How's that sound? So let's get to it. Now the first guy I want to talk about here isn't really a villager. He's kind of a villager. You can't breed him with other villagers, and he disappears after a while. This is the Wandering Trader. And the Wandering Trader always has some interesting trades. A lot of people don't like this guy, he's kind of annoying, he has these llamas with him. But the llamas you can get leads off of if you're willing to kill them. And this guy sometimes will have things like saplings, which you may not have yet in your world. If you're nowhere near a roofed forest, you're not going to get any dark oak saplings anytime soon. The Wandering Trader is a way to do that. So, he's kind of annoying, but sometimes very useful. That's right, you buddy. With the hoodie. Or is that a parka? Probably a parka. So the first villager we're going to talk about today is the farmer. Now the farmer uses the composter as his workstation. And the farmer is great. You can not only use them in automatic farms for things like wheat and carrots and potatoes and beetroot. But you can sell them pumpkins and melons and all of those different things for easily accessible diamonds. Emeralds is what I mean. They are good for early game farms. If you can set yourself up and get a good farmer villagers close by, you are good. Now their later trades are amazing. You can get things like golden carrots and glistening melon. Okay, glistening melons maybe not the greatest thing, but golden carrots are incredible. They have the most saturation of anything in the game, although I still like beef better. The next villager we're going to talk about is the butcher. Now he's not exactly my favorite because it is a little harder to farm peaceful mobs unless you just have, regular mob farms, which means you have to constantly feed them to make them reproduce. Later on, however, they do accept berries as payment. So if you want to set up an automatic farm with like a fox or something, that's maybe something you want to think about later on in the game, more mid to late game. So the butcher is not exactly a guy you want from the get-go. Now that is not true of our next guy, the shepherd. The shepherd, if you get an early game sheep farm with all the wool that you can shear, is going to be very helpful in getting you a lot of emeralds. For some reason, if you can't find iron, you can also buy shears from these guys. Now later on, you can also buy dyed wool from these guys, which is okay. Honestly, I'd rather find the wool myself. Hello, you're not in this shot yet. But that's the shepherd. Okay, the next guy we're talking about is the fisherman. If you find a spider spawner, the fisherman is going to be your best friend because he accepts string as payment, as well as some other things like coal. Excuse me, I'm making a video here, sir. There's not a lot late game that he can do for you that you can't do for yourself with an AFK fish farm. You guys are getting annoying. One moment, while I take care of these people. As I was saying, there's not much you're going to be able to get from this guy that you can't get from an AFK fish farm. But if you have an early game spider spawner that you're willing to set up, he's going to be pretty useful in getting emeralds. Okay, now we're going to talk about someone really useful, the armorer. Now, the armorer in his later trades will give you diamond armor, and that is pretty awesome. It means you don't have to go mining for diamonds anymore. That is pretty fantastic, and with different tricks you can get his prices down quite a bit. The armorer is very useful. He's one of the top tier useful villagers that you can possibly get. So definitely get yourself an armorer once you're set up getting yourself emeralds. He's not someone you're going to want to get emeralds from. He's going to be someone that you give emeralds to. Now the Cartographer is the Librarian's weaker cousin. However, if you are going, discovering things and want maps, this is the go-to guy. He sells compasses, he sells maps, and you can get them at fairly reasonable prices. This guy you can sell paper to, so if you have an early game sugarcane farm and you don't have a librarian for whatever reason at this point, since you can make anyone whoever you want, Cartographer will help you with that, because you can sell paper to them. But definitely useful for the maps, a lot cheaper than making the maps yourself. The Fletcher can be useful if you have a lot of wood on your hands. One of his early game trades is sticks, and of course you can turn planks into sticks. So if you have a really good early game tree farm, this is going to be your go-to guy. That's really all I can say about him. You can get different enchanted arrows later on with his trades, as well as enchanted crossbows, which is pretty cool. But again, you can get a bow from AFK fishing, so this guy's really more a salesman. So try to give him all your sticks if you need to. Okay, next up is the Toolsmith. Now the Toolsmith, like the Weaponsmith, like the Armorer before, is really useful. He will give you diamond tools later. Axes, pickaxes, and shovels. So his trades are super useful. You definitely want to get one of these guys. But again, this is not a guy that you're going to initially be getting emeralds from. You're going to be giving this guy emeralds later on to get your different tools. And again, this will give you the ability to not have to mine diamonds. So definitely a later game guy, but definitely one you're going to want to have. This is one of the top 3 as well. Okay, and of that triumvirate, we have here the Weaponsmith. And again, this guy's going to give you diamond tools later on in his trades. And he's going to be someone you're going to take a while probably to level up, because mostly he's not going to be giving you emeralds. You're going to be giving him your emeralds. Just like the Armorer, just like the Toolsmith. He's super useful to have, but not if you're looking to score some emeralds. Okay, and next up we have one of my favorite builds. Now the Cleric, he'll take your rotten flesh and he will give you emeralds for that, and that's super cool. That's not what's great about the Cleric. The Cleric will sell you redstone, they will sell you lapis, they will sell you a whole number of things. Okay, they'll give you ender pearls, bottles of enchanting, crazy stuff. This is one of the best guys for giving your emeralds to. Unless you have a good mob farm that's giving you rotten flesh, you're not going to really be getting emeralds from this guy. Once again, this is more of a late game that you're going to be giving your emeralds to get some of the resources that you maybe don't want to be mining, like redstone and lapis. But definitely very useful. The next guy up on our list is the Librarian. The Librarian is super great, and not with this trade. But the Librarian is super great because he will sell you enchanted books. And the enchanted books will change every time you put this down. Every time. As long as he's willing to still pick up. Sharpness 3 is not bad, but 43 is pretty crazy. The prices will change, the enchantments will change. You're going to want to be placing and picking up and putting down the lectern quite a bit to get this guide to the trade that you want. But once you have it, lock it in, and you're set for life with that enchanted book. Definitely a useful guy. Also, sometimes, depending on what his trades are, you'll be able to give him paper as well, which is super cool as well. But you're going to want these guys definitely for their books, less so than the paper. If you've got a really good sugarcane farm, by all means use it for this. If you got a 0 tick or something, by all means use it for this. But really, you're looking for the enchantments that this guy can give you. Super useful, definitely going to be a villager that you're wanting. The Leatherworker's up next, and I've got to be honest with you, I've never traded with the Leatherworker in my life. I think they are... yeah, they're probably the most useless... the most useless villager there is. There's just not a lot that leather is good for. If you have a lot of gravel, you can sell them gravel, which is cool. If you've killed a lot of rabbits, you monster, you can sell the rabbit hide. You can also sell leather to them. So again, if you have a good cow farm, this might be the guy for you. Otherwise, maybe take a pass on the leather worker. Not a fan. And the last guy on our list for today is my new favorite, the Mason. Now, the Mason isn't so great at the start, although you can sell him clay and you can get bricks from him early on. His real good trades are at the end. This guy will sell you quartz and quartz pillars all the time. If you've got a fleet of these guys, you can have as much quartz blocks as you want and only have to go mining in the nether when you want, you know, regular quartz for things like observers and comparators. Otherwise, this guy can take care of all your quartz needs. This guy is the real MVP here, and definitely someone you're going to want to get, but again, this is more of a later game villager. So now we've taken a look at the villager types. I want to go over some of the different things that you can do with villagers, and that's things like iron farms and crop farms, and I'll show you a few examples of those. Okay, now this is my personal favorite. This is an iron... Hi everyone down there. This is an iron golem farm, and what happens is this guy scares these guys, and it spawns them in whatever places are available to them in a 16 by 16 by 16. Okay, so you need these guys to be far enough away from each other where they don't notice all the other iron golems that are spawning because of these guys, and then they will all spawn. Then you need a way to kill them. I was just spot killing these guys, which is okay. You can't middle click on lava, huh? No, you can't. But yeah, so the idea, I mean, you can have one of these pods, you can have multiple of these pods, but basically you're trying to get these guys to notice him more often than not, with just enough time occasionally to go to sleep and to work. As long as they get to do that, for a fraction of a millisecond per day, they can spawn iron golems, as shown here. I didn't spawn these in, this did. It was running a while, and I did have to just put in all these villagers again because for some reason they all died. You are going to want covers on top for lightning so they don't turn into witches, but otherwise this is self-sustaining, and you'll never have to really worry about it again. Iron farms are one of the best uses for villagers, and it's definitely something you want to consider for any Let's Play world. Okay, next up is the crop farm. Now, he's completely encased. We do have the composter in the middle. It's absolutely essential that this guy is a farmer. Otherwise, he will not touch these crops. But once he is a farmer, and he recognizes the composter as his, he will farm these crops. And once his inventory is full, he won't pick them up anymore. Now, there are a couple ways that you can take advantage of this. You can put a minecart rail system underneath to collect all the drops that he doesn't pick up. You can also make this a villager breeder by trapping a villager, trapping two villagers over here with one guy inside. He will feed them, and then they will breed. And if you put something to collect the guys underneath, they will continuously breed. Hello, I'm not doing anything to them, I promise. I promise, I'm just demonstrating. So yeah, he'll throw it to him, and that's super cool, fantastic. Now there are other farms that you can make with villagers. You can use them as bait in pillager farms, you can use them as bait in zombie farms, or in general purpose farms so that you can sort the mobs. You can use them as bait. You can use them as bait in a lot of things, basically. But as for these are really how you're going to get yourself set up. You're going to start this one right over here, which is going to lead to that one up there. And at that point, you can do whatever you want. The sky is the limit, because iron is no limit. Look at all these guys. All from this. All from this. But yeah, I do hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. So that I will know that you liked it, and I can make more of these, because these are a lot of fun. But until next time, thank you, have a good day, take care, goodbye.